Quickly, just want to introduce myself. My name is Clint Boylston. I'll be presenting today on our voice service options with Microsoft Teams for this Teams Tuesday. And so again, want to say thank you all for joining and supporting eGroup's weekly Tech Talks, and look forward to kind of providing more information today on Microsoft Teams. Just some housekeeping notes. If you have any questions that populate today that we have not already seen ahead of time, feel free to drop them in the chat, and we will make sure that we make note of those and either answer them during today's webinar, or if not, we can answer them post-webinar as well. So talking about Teams Voice today, first thing kind of just want to go over quickly is just who eGroup is. Not sure if everyone on the call is familiar with eGroup, our partnership with Microsoft, how we operate. But we are, in fact, a Microsoft certified partner. We've been in business since 1999, and our mission is to deliver speed and certainty to the data center and cloud. And how we do that is by delivering initiatives around data center architecture and helping you develop it's trying to simplify very complex solutions and systems and make it easier to manage. Same thing on the cloud side. We do a ton of workshops and educational assessments and even turnkey deployments with Office 365, whether that is getting into the identity management and security suites with Microsoft, or helping with just the collaboration platforms like a Microsoft Teams that we'll discuss today. We're helping a lot of customers enable themselves and feel strengthened to continue to adopt more with Microsoft, as well as on the infrastructure side, working out of the Microsoft platform Azure to help optimize spend and even operationalize some of our infrastructure and server bases, and try to find platform as a service option, software as a service options, and of course, even infrastructure as a service. And then finally, we do offer managed services as a entity here at eGroup. So whether that is support agreements, project-based agreements, or full-on management of your systems, eGroup can be a provider in all of those areas. The biggest thing, two things that I would call out about eGroup kind of on this slide is, one, we are a privately owned debt-free organization. Why I think that is important since I've been at eGroup is we don't have investors telling us who and what technologies we should be investing in. We sole source individually with our team, organically deciding the technologies that we like to invest in. And we do that kind of based off of technologies that are being, one, disruptive in the marketplace, and two, that have a proven track record already of being sustainable in the marketplace and having a technology that is going to last and solve problems for the next 5 to 10 years. And then finally, Microsoft just released all of their top partners for this year, and coming in from last fiscal year for Microsoft, eGroup ranked in the top 50 of Microsoft certified partners for Teams voice solutions. So what we're talking about today, we came in the top 50 of Microsoft last year, and that is out of 80,000 certified partners across the U.S. So for today's conversation, we're really focused on Teams Voice and what Teams Voice can deliver for you all as customers, right? So we're seeing a lot of conversations, and even kind of going back probably about the time the pandemic began, a lot of questions were starting to come up around, okay, we need to do more with Microsoft Teams. There were a lot of questions being had before that around, like, how do we go about it? Then the pandemic kind of happened. It was kind of like, okay, we've just got to go for it. We've got to roll out, our departmentals, shares or teams within the platform. How do we get in, chat functionality, calendars, move all of our conferencing over to Microsoft Teams? And what we've noticed through that is that it became a very popular tool and platform to use for those things, allows you to consolidate costs and not have to continue to invest in other third-party solutions where you're already paying for Teams. So kind of through all of that, a lot of enablement, a lot of just adoption into the Teams platform started to unfold. And then later, about a year ago or so, Teams Voice really started becoming a hot topic. And kind of through that, what we noticed was an opportunity to help our customers really embrace and understand how telephony in the Teams platform can help really just continue to consolidate how we manage our systems today and provide another level of simplicity to our environment. And so through that, eGroup actually partnered with a group called Scipio. And what Scipio is it is a direct routing as a service offering. So now we can enable external calling natively from Microsoft Teams with Scipio. So it really provides that direct routing option and allows you to continue to plug and play with Microsoft Teams, to where now, and this is kind of where I kind of, the agenda for today is really to talk about the options you have within the Microsoft Teams platform, how you can scale that out to your entire enterprise business. A lot of organizations look at this as like, I don't want to have to buy hard phones ever again. All of our employees will go to their cell phones and they'll have the Teams app on there. I want them to call from that. Well, Scipio is going to be able to provide that to you. You don't have to worry about soft phones, or you don't have to worry about hard phones, right? You can do everything organically if you are a cell phone kind of business, right, where you kind of provide mobile phone options for your employees. It's just integrating that Scipio component to be able to plug into Microsoft, to then be able to migrate off of any on-prem PBXs and have everything hosted fully up in the cloud. So that's the big component, right? And we're happy to dive in on, have a much more technical conversation on what the guts of that kind of looks like if necessary. But just holistically, from a high level overview, how do we connecting, right, for that external calling? We're going to do that through Scipio and really connect it back into your Microsoft Teams platform. And they have a comprehensive co-sell solution with Microsoft, and it's been proven to work very efficiently for organizations that are looking to move to Microsoft Teams. So a couple things I wanted to kind of go over on this Teams Tuesday, specifically around voice services, is what all is out there, right? What all are we capable of performing within our businesses, right? As we, some of us come back into the office, have been back into the office in some sort of hybrid role. I think, hybrid business settings are always going to be a thing, right? I think we've all kind of come to grasp with that, whether if we're starting to come back or have come back, and now we're starting to go back away from the from in-person office time or not. But Microsoft Teams has teamed up with a lot of your known phone hardware companies too. So if you do need to have some level of hardware in your organization, you're going to be able to get that to the Teams voice platform as well. Poly is an organization that we've partnered with to be able to deliver a lot of those solutions that are necessary. So the first one I really wanted to bring up are the Teams rooms. So for your conference rooms, whether they're large conference rooms with 15 plus people, medium size, so like 8 to 12-ish people, or even small conference rooms, Poly offers different options to allow you to broadcast a Teams conferencing solution within each one of your type of conference rooms that you have in person in your physical offices. So you have touchpads in the middle, right? You can have full-on screens with cameras and speakers, and really just to ensure that everyone can be seen as if everyone's at their desktops on their phones and have their cameras on. 2, everyone can be heard, and you can mute out depending on where you sit on a table and how your audio systems are set up. And 3, it's as easy as logging in on your desktop to sign in. You can just simply sign in, as you can see from the touchpad and with the speaker on it with the little touch screen. It's that easy to log into Teams, and we can integrate all of that and configure all of that for every conference room to make sure that everything's up and running from that perspective. And then I would say it's sort of the next step, and this kind of goes back to my conversation about hard phones versus soft phones, right? Most of the conversations we have with organizations is how can we eliminate the hard phones? And we are 100% back behind that. But as we all know, I think some of the hardest innovations to make in our businesses is getting people to fully embrace technology changes. So sometimes it's hard to get employees behind the idea of going away from having a physical phone at their desk and going to their cell phone or going to a hardwire headset into their laptop. There are hard phone options that integrate with Teams Voice, again, sticking with the Poly platform or the Poly portfolio of solutions, if you will. There are a couple of options here. You can offer them a touchpad that connects right into your desktop. That comes with Poly that has the speakerphone. You can give them the physical desk that they can hook up to as well, all of which are fully integrated with Microsoft Teams, have very much an interface that looks just like Microsoft Teams built into the phone for them to call through that dialing script as well. So if you do have, a subset of users that are pretty adamant about sticking with some sort of hard phone functionality, you do have those options, and that integration will go into Teams as well to to deliver that solution for you. And EGroup can help you with configuration and setup of the hard phones as well as conference room setups as well. And the last thing I really wanted to cover around options to consider, things that we have helped build out for our customers, are even going as far as integrations with like intercom systems. So door phones, for instance, if you have an intercom system on the outside of your your front office that you dial into this to the front desk, and front desk lets you in, there are ways and technology to help you integrate that into that desk phone, right, that sits at the front office, and still have Microsoft Teams fully integrated with that, and then leveraging analog gateways like an audio code gateway to be able to go from the intercom system through that audio gateway or that analog gateway into a lobby phone, or whatever that looks like. And then also along that line, a couple of things that that look very similar to the lobby phones are like small gathering areas, right? Maybe not in a private conference room, but a table of 4 people having Teams enabled conferencing hubs sitting at the center of those tables. All of those options are available as well through Poly, and just a couple of ways that can kind of help how Teams voice is able to start integrating, and how these hardware companies that have aligned with a lot of different technologies over the year are aligning with Microsoft Teams as well to provide that fully comprehensive solution from guests getting inside the front door to them coming into an office room with 10 people in it, and then another 5 people on a Teams conference call, having all of that integrated and and available. It's all being done right now, right before our eyes on Microsoft through some of their hardware vendors as well. I know I definitely understand. And I think sort of the first step is, how can we eliminate some of the hardware, right? We want to eliminate as much complexity as possible. At the same time, there's a level of hardware that's going to be needed, right? I mean, for a lot of our employees or a conference room technology in general to allow us to continue to integrate with Teams. So a lot of those options are available as well. We're always very much under the advocate of the first step being, okay, how do we eliminate hardware as much as we can and go to more of a software-based, device perspective, but at the same time we can, and are happy to talk with you more about hardware options as well, for whether it's employee office phones or conference room technologies, as well as how do we integrate some of our existing hardware, if possible, into our new phone system that is now hosted fully in the cloud. So just kind of wrapping up today on today's Teams Tuesday, we're happy to talk further about it. I know there were a couple of people that reached out kind of on, when they registered for this event, on want to learn more about what Teams Voice is capable of. Hopefully this helped today kind of show you a little bit more of the high level comprehensive understanding of this environment. Happy to get more into the technical conversations as well with each individual. I kind of wanted to kind of push that to the side for now, just because every use case is different, and I think it's just better to kind of talk through any individual use cases. So if you have conversations or wanting to learn more about how you can start moving away from host or managing a hosted on-prem cloud or telephony solution and moving that to the cloud, leveraging that within the Teams platform, happy to have the conversation, really understand your goals, and see how we can help you overcome some of those challenges. So what things are going to look like next in terms of just sort of a wrap up from today's Teams Tuesday? One of our team members, Leanne Thomas, who's pictured here, she's one of our business development representatives. She's going to be sending out today's slide deck along with just a quick follow up on what she thought about today's event. If you have any questions, or you are trying to figure out how you can engage with the EGroup team to learn more, or just have us simply listen to your use case and provide our recommendations on how we would probably go about, finding a cloud solution for your telephony, just respond back to Leanne, and she will connect you with your direct EGroup account executive. And then from there, we'll connect, find some time to really have a much more strategic conversation and fully just sit back, listen, and understand where you are today, what you're trying to accomplish. And then based off of that, we're hoping we can provide recommendations, and we usually can provide some recommendations around how to get started, what makes the most sense for your organization, and how we can sort of engage and help you tackle some of these initiatives and goals. So that's kind of what next steps look like. One thing I did throw in this slide, and we'll send it as in the email follow-up as well, is our Yahoo News publication when we announced our partnership with Scipio. And so if you want some more information on Scipio and how it connects in and provides that external dialing capabilities within your team's platform, I highly recommend checking out this article. I think it'll be very much worthwhile. And yeah, finally, if you check us out on Twitter, LinkedIn with the handles above, and then yeah, we'll look forward to working with you, learning more about your use cases, why you're interested in voice services with Microsoft Teams, and always happy to have the conversation and learn more about your organization and see if this is a good fit for you. So with that, I want to thank you all for your time today. I'm checking kind of on the fly. I don't see any Q&A. So I appreciate everyone's time. If you do have any questions, post this. Like I said, be on the lookout for that email from Leanne later this afternoon. And we will be happy to answer any questions that come off that you just have directly for that. And yeah, again, just thank you all for all the support and all the and joining all of our Teams Tuesday webinars that we host bi-weekly, as well as our Nutanix at 9s that come over every other Wednesday. And then our corresponding tech talks that we fill in every month as well. So we are overwhelmed with the support you guys give us on these every single week. And thank you all for joining this morning, and looking forward to hopefully future conversations. Thanks.